Hi guys, I am Michelle and today we are talking about the NAISH ADX 2025 all-round wing in size 5.5. For the first time, I am not the only one who has tried this wing. Massimo Amez was also involved with wingfoil advice. Here I leave you his YouTube channel. We tested it in Rimini in Chiozza in many different conditions. The positive thing is that in the end, we had practically the same impressions. In the next few minutes, we will see how this NAISH is made, how it performs in the water, and to whom we recommend it. In the meantime, guys, if you like our content, please like, subscribe to the channel, and also join the WhatsApp community. The link is below in the description. Guys, if you are watching this video in a language other than Italian, don't worry, I'm not a robot. My name is Michelle. The original content in Italian can be found at this address, but we are doing some experiments to try to maximize the availability of our content online. In fact, I am very interested to know what you think, so please write below in the comments and tell me if this new format is enjoyable for you. Let's start by talking about the brand. If someone says NAISH, surely all windsurfers or even kiters will think of Robbie Naish. In fact, clearly, Robbie Naish is the man who founded this brand, a brand to which I have historically been very attached due to my past with windsurfing, but honestly, I had never particularly considered it when it comes to wing. However, I had the opportunity to try the ADX 2025 wing in advance a few months ago in Torbol, and I was impressed, so I then decided to purchase it. To buy it, I went to one of the most well-stocked stores in the area called Nautica Urban. I will leave the link below in the description. It is an extremely large store, incredibly well stocked both for water sports and exceptionally for clothing. But now let's talk about the wing. It's called ADX. The 2025 version is an evolution of the 2024, which was already a good wing. The 2025 has been improved in many ways. In general, this is an all-round wing in every sense, and as you will see, you can use it for freeride, but also for freestyle or even wave riding. It is definitely one of those sails that, in my opinion, must be present in the quiver of a wingfoil enthusiast. I personally bought it in size 5.5 because it is perhaps the size I use a bit more here in Romagna conditions. I can easily go out with the 5.5 from 10 knots up to 17 knots. Looking at how the wing is made, the first thing you notice is the construction material. Here a Tegin Dacron is used, and on the leading edge we have a particular feature. NAISH has developed a technology called T-bone hybrid, and you can see it both in the central part of the leading edge where we have a different material, still a Dacron, but I have the impression that it is definitely stiffer, while the side part of the leading edge towards the tips has a slightly lighter Dacron. The significant advantage of this construction, which they call Ibira, is to have excellent and remarkable stiffness and durability in the part of the wing most subjected to stress, while indeed allowing the tips to breathe better when under pressure. The result is that the sail is really very stiff. It handles very well, but at the same time does not feel particularly heavy in hand. The flat cane structure made with radial panels, combined with the load distributor placed at the end of the strut, allows for excellent load distribution. In fact, when sailing, as we will see later, the sail remains very balanced and always easy to manage in all situations. There are exactly 3 windows on each side, so a total of 6 small windows parallel to the strut. In my opinion, the windows are not particularly large. At least I personally don't like windows too much in general. The result is that, yes, when you are sailing, these windows are, in my opinion, positioned correctly. However, when I need to maneuver, I personally always tend to look at the wing to see that there is no one downwind. One of the most interesting things about this wing is the handles, which are 2 and are rigid. The front handle is certainly and definitely longer than the rear one, so practically when used, it feels almost like having a boom in your hands. In fact, it is actually quite easy to navigate while indeed holding the wing with just one hand. The material used for the handles is extremely soft to the touch and comfortable, both on the part where the handle is gripped and at the junction with the strap, in every way. If I look at the shape from the outside, the handles are classic handles. They are not the pistol grip handles to which I am personally very attached, indeed particularly attached. Moreover, the section of the handles is oval. It is not very large for my hands. I am 190 meters tall, and for my large hands, the section is adequate. It could perhaps have been a little bigger, but clearly I imagine they need to meet the needs of all riders, from the smaller ones to the larger ones. There are 2 air chambers, one for the leading edge and one for the strap. The valve used is the standard one from stand-up paddle boards, and the inflation pressures vary from 7 to 9 psi. The fact of having 2 air chambers is, in my opinion, both an advantage and a disadvantage. The big advantage is that we can, if we want, customize the wing's navigation experience by keeping 2 separate pressures. Another significant advantage is that, especially during the deflation phase, this wing deflates extremely rapidly indeed, and it is also a way to significantly increase the safety of the wing. If one bladder punctures unexpectedly, then fortunately enough, the other one still remains functional. The only disadvantage, if we want to call it that, is that I am used to doing things quickly. I connect the electric pump and the wing inflates while I do other things. In this case, you need to remember that you have 2 points to inflate the wing. What? It's not a flaw. This is just a characteristic of the wing. You just need to be aware of it. Additionally, it is also good to know that there is a sequence in the inflation. So first you need to inflate the leading edge, and then the strap. And to deflate, it's the opposite. On the leading edge, we also have the handle for navigation in free fly. This handle here is quite rigid, if not very rigid, and the back part is protected by end preen. This feature helps a lot, as we will also see during navigation in free fly, because it really allows you to easily orient the wing. The wing is delivered inside a bag. I'll show it to you because I have the wing here with me. This here is the bag. As you can see, it is an elongated bag. In fact, it is a backpack. Here I have the straps of the backpack. I have the option to attach it from the top. And here on the side, I can attach a pump for transport. I think the backpack is made very well. The wing can breathe. And it is also easy to insert the wing inside because it is a backpack, as you can see. Very, very elongated. So for me, I absolutely approve it. Inside the package, we also clearly find the wings leash. The ADX 2025 is available in 11 sizes ranging from 2 meters to 7 meters in half-meter increments, and there are 3 colors. We have the size 5.5, which has a width of 2 meters, and 0.7, and a span of 3 meters and 84. But let's see the most important thing, which is how this wing performs in the water. As I said, we tested it with 2 different riders in different conditions, from 8 to over 20 knots in Rimini and Chioggia, so always in the sea, in flat sea conditions, but also in wavy sea. The impression we both had is that this wing is truly very balanced. It is an extremely easy wing, but at the same time high-performing. But above all, it is a balanced wing. Generally, what it does well. Perhaps it doesn't excel in anything particular, but it is a round performance wing, as Naish says. And that is indeed true. This is demonstrated by many factors. The power is there. I would say that the power in this case is just right for the 5.5. In maneuvers, the wing is super easy, thanks to both its construction and the large front handle. The sail is really very balanced. In attack, the wing turns on its own, and it's very, very easy to perform any type of maneuver while sailing. The sail may not be the fastest overall. It's not a pure race sail, but it is definitely a sail that moves. It is certainly not a stationary sail. It is a sail with which you can absolutely have fun. And in my opinion, also thanks to the dihedral in its shape, it sails very well upwind. And we are not experts in freestyle at all, but we are capable of doing some jumps. And in the experiences we have had, we noticed that the sail also has good pop, meaning that when you jump, you still have support. and the sail encourages you a bit to perform some tricks as well. So once again, with this wing, in my opinion, you can easily perform freestyle maneuvers. When we talk about free fly, here Cash and I had slightly different opinions. Perhaps the only point where we did not have absolutely identical opinions. I tried it in conditions that were, if we want, quite easy. Reasonably constant wind at around 13 to 14 knots. Side wind, for me, I found the wing to be really very stable in free fly. Cash tried it in definitely more challenging conditions with onshore and side-on wind. As you can see from the video, the sail performed well, with only a few sporadic instances where it became a little bit twitchy. However, it must be said that thanks to the very rigid front handle, it is really very easy to orient the wing when we are in free fly, if I really have to find a small flaw. That is not really a flaw, but rather a personal preference. The handles, as we said, work very well, and the front handle is very wide. However, at the same time, I am a big fan of the pistol handle, which might help during the free fly phase. For the next evolutions of this Naish, I would like to see these types of handles. Another detail is that if someone has very large hands, I think the diameter of the handle could perhaps be a little bit larger, at least in my personal opinion. Aside from this, I liked the wing so much that I ended up buying it, and this is my medium wind wing from Zero. Well guys, we have reached the conclusions. Frankly, I recommend this wing because it is an all-round wing with which you can do a bit of everything, and you do it well and easily. This is a wing that is perfect for absolute beginners, but also appeals to intermediate riders who want a really versatile wing. You can navigate with it, surf in free fly, do a bit of freestyle, you can do a bit of whatever you want. Finally, I thank Cash and Urban for giving me the opportunity to create this content. Thank you guys, and please write down in the comments what you think, whether you agree or disagree with this review. The more you interact, the more you motivate us to create new content. Now I'm going to work on other videos. See you soon. Bye. From Michela.